Okay, this lesson here is going to be the ins and outs of buying a house, which can be, kind of a complicated process to go through. So let's start from the beginning here. So you decide you're going to buy a house instead of rent, which is a major decision because you're going to be committing a lot of money and committing that money for a decent period of time. So it's not a decision we want to take lightly. So you want to do a lot of research first. We want to choose a location that you like, figure out what kind of a budget you can work within, what your needs and wants are for that house. How many bedrooms do you want? Do you want a backyard? Do you want a basement? What can you afford? Okay, so a lot of that goes in ahead of time before you even start shopping. Figure out what you want out of this house, and then where. Okay, do you want a long drive to work? Okay, where do you work? Where's your friends? Where are your family? It's a big decision, so you want to do a lot of communicating with whomever you are buying the house with, and so there's a lot that goes into it. So we're going to start out by finding a good real estate agent, which is usually somebody you know. Most people know someone that's in real estate, or you see signs, or you call a local Century 21 or Remax office and you find someone that's going to help you out. Okay, and I'm going to show you a website here that you'll want to become best friends with and that we're going to work with in class, and that is Realtor.com. And I'm just going to quickly say I want to search for a home that's for sale, and I want to live in Naperville, Illinois, and I know my price range is 250,000, and I know I can't go over 400,000. One more zero, and I have to have at least 4 bedrooms, and I would like to have 3 bathrooms. Okay, and I could do a little more of an advanced search, but just right there's 178 properties that fit that criteria. So I'm going to search and scroll down a little bit, and it starts with the highest to lowest price, but everything that's for sale that meets that criteria is right here. So you don't even need a real estate agent to do this. So let's say this one looks really nice here. So I'm going to take a look. We've got pictures. It's 399,900, and I can work my way looking through the pictures. Okay, see if I like the insides. Obviously, you can change the decor and whatnot if you buy the house, but in general, do you like it? Is there a yard? That looks really nice. And then if you scroll down, there's a lot of information to write up. Some of the ins and outs about the house. Okay, some important stuff. What school? Okay, so these people would go to Neuqua Valley High School, which is a pretty nice school down in Naperville. And as you keep going down, you can see a map. And what's pretty cool here, you can actually get the bird's eye view here of what the property looks like. So it's kind of neat. And there's a bird's eye view of the whole neighborhood. Okay, all right on this website of Realtor.com. So you can actually do this before you contact your real estate agent and pick out 5 or 6 properties that you want to see, and then you need that real estate agent to go there with you. So they set up the appointment and they get you in there, you look around. Okay, if you find a house that you like, you're going to determine an appropriate offer price. So let's go back to my house here that I found, and they're asking $399,900. So that's what they want me to pay. It's kind of like buying the car. We're going to negotiate this. So I know I'm not paying this much. So I'm going to offer them, maybe I'll offer them $380,000. So almost $20,000 less than they're asking. So we'll see if they take it. And if they do, then great. Or they may come back and say, no, that's not enough. How about $390,000? So they meet me halfway. And we can go back and forth until we agree on the final price. Okay, so again, you work through your real estate agent to get that done. But it's again, you're not going to pay full price, hopefully. All right, then you got to go out and find that money. So we are going to get a mortgage. So a mortgage, that's the official financial name for the loan specific to a house. And you are borrowing this from a bank. So technically, in financial terms, the bank owns the house until you pay off the mortgage, or they own a portion of it. And that's why, as we've seen recently, the increase in foreclosures, that's the term, if you don't make your mortgage payments, and I don't know if it's exactly three, but usually at three payments, the bank starts calling you and starts getting on your case here. So if you miss a couple, the bank's going to start foreclosure proceedings and end up taking the house back, which is an extremely unfortunate situation. It's happened way too often these days for a variety of reasons. But again, we don't want to do that. And the bank has the right to do that because in a financial stake, they own the house. Okay, so the mortgage itself, it has two parts to it. There's the principal, which is the actual amount we are borrowing. Okay, and then there's the interest that the bank's going to charge us. So the bank is going to charge us interest, and then we're going to pay it back over a certain period of time. But no bank in their right mind is going to lend you 100% of the price of the house you're buying. Okay, so let's say that going back here, I ended up buying this house. Okay, let's say I got it for $380,000. Okay, so they liked my 300. Well, let's say 390,000. They liked my 390,000 offer. So let's say I wanted to put down 20%. Okay, because if you don't put down 20% of your own money, you're going to have to pay what's called private mortgage insurance, which is, not to get too technical, but it's just extra money each month. Okay, so if you put down less than 20% of your own money, you end up paying more. So in this case, 20% of that 390,000 that I'm using as an example would be I should have had this ready to go and I didn't. Okay, so 390,000 times 20%. So I'd have to come up with $78,000 on my own. I could have done that in my head. So $78,000 on my own. That's not borrowed. So we talked a lot about savings accounts, right? So where's this $78,000 come from? That's a lot of money. So you're not going to just move out of your parents' house right away and be buying a house unless you've got a great job and you live at home for a while. So again, the bank is going to require that you put down some of your own money to buy that house. Okay, so it's a lot of money. Okay, so when we're buying or getting a mortgage, there are two types of mortgages. This is important that we understand this. First off, a fixed rate mortgage. Your payment never changes. So most people get a 30-year mortgage. So whatever your mortgage payment is today in 2012, it won't change. And when the mortgage runs out and you're done paying it in 2042, you make the same monthly payment for 360 months in a row. Okay, so yes, it helps when planning a budget. It's consistent. You don't have to worry about interest rates changing. There's none of that. So it's the easy, not the easy way. It's the safest bet when getting a mortgage. Some people like to go the route of an adjustable rate mortgage. And this is a little bit like gambling here. So what happens with an adjustable rate mortgage is every so often your mortgage is going to change to reflect what current interest rates are. Okay, so like it says, it's great if interest rates are going down because then your mortgage payment would go down because the interest you're being charged goes down also. However, if interest rates are going up, then your monthly payment's going to go up. So, and you don't have a choice about that. So you could get a letter in the mail or a phone call that says your monthly payment has gone up by $150 a month because of current interest rates. And you have to come up with that money. That's your new payment. You don't have a choice. So again, it's kind of risky. Most people go the fixed rate route, but this is available. And we have here, you may have to pay points. Nowadays, a bank would be crazy to charge you a point, but for that situation that I was telling you before, if I was borrowing, oh, here we go again. If I was going to put down $78,000 of my own money, okay, so the house was $390,000 minus the $78,000 that I'm going to put down. I'm borrowing $312,000 from the bank. The bank may charge me a point. 1 point equals 1% of the loan amount, just as a fee for them doing the paperwork and going through the process of setting this up. So in this case, they may charge me 0.01, $3,120 just for the work they go through to set up this mortgage. And this is a negotiable thing. You could, if you were a good client, had good credit, you could say, I'm not paying you that point, I'll take my business elsewhere. And most banks would agree to that. But if you're not a great customer with great credit history, you could get charged a point. Okay? And then to close, I know this is getting a little bit long. Normally, I say normally just because of the economic times we live in, the best part financially of owning a house is that you build equity in your house. Okay, so equity simply means percentage of ownership. So in that situation that I showed you, if I borrowed 80% of the money and put 20% of the money down, then I have a 20% equity stake in the house. The bank has an 80% equity stake in the house. And then every month as I make my monthly payment, my percentage of ownership goes up, the bank's percentage of ownership goes down. Okay, and you have an example there. If a house is worth $350,000 and your mortgage, or you only owe $250,000 on your mortgage, on your loan, then you have $100,000 equity in the house. And then houses usually appreciate, which means they go up in price over time. That's not always the case. So let's use the example from right up here. So we have a $350,000 house, and with a $250,000 mortgage, well, $350,000 was the price of the house. So let's just say we have a $250,000 mortgage, and then we sell the house for $400,000. Okay, guess what we get to keep? $150,000 is yours because you only owe the bank $250,000. Maybe you started out owing them $350,000, but you made monthly payments after payments after payments after payments, and you got that balance down to $250,000. Then you sold it for $400,000 because it went up a little bit in price. So $150,000 is yours to move on to the next house as a down payment to live somewhere else or whatever. So that's called building equity. So that's an extremely important part financially of owning a home. Okay, so that's going to do it. This was kind of a lot, so make sure you go over and take the quiz. This might be a quiz that you want to pause and come back and look at this presentation again. As fun as that sounds, I know. But buying a house is a complicated process, so we got to make sure we cover it all. So that will do it for this lesson.